Hi everyone, welcome to the intuitive card reading for the month of August 2024. I'm so sorry, this video is late. Guys, please bear with me. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible. And I think I've been doing a pretty good job, but I've had a not so great couple of days, so it was hard for me to record this. But here I am, it's a little late. Hopefully this is out by the 1st, if not the 2nd. But still has a majority. Obviously, I try to get it out before the month, but you know, it's only a couple days in. It's not exactly as soon as August 1st hits, you know, the energy changes. It's kind of a blend. So, and I did do the weekly that bled into the first week of August, but let's see what actually August has in store for us. I'm excited. Same 4 decks, shuffled, of course, and then the order I believe I changed up. What else do I need to tell you guys? Like this video, please share it with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week, of the month. This is the monthly. And put any comments down below if it resonates with you, if it doesn't resonate with you, if you have any questions, comments, something doesn't make sense, something makes perfect sense, let me know. All right, let's jump into it, guys. What do we got going on here? Hold on one second. Let me make sure my water is here. And one second, you guys, 1 second. Sorry. Okay. All right. I pulled Magical Child upside down. That's what I'm holding in my hand. Pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Okay. So energy and action are not required for growth. Okay, Magical Child, this means, so it's under need and it's in the shadow. So basically we're not necessarily connected to the more playful sides of ourselves, to the more innocent side of ourselves, to the magic within us. And then that word pessimism kind of jumps out here. So yes, we can look at it as the opposite because it's in the shadow and saying we need to be more in that inner child. We need to play a little bit more. We need to have a little bit more optimism, but not gonna lie to you guys. And I usually say this and you already know, is that sometimes the first card is kind of really telling of basically setting the tone for the month or the week or whatever I'm reading. This is the monthly. This is telling me that we don't have the greatest attitude or outlook on life, but we really do need to see it differently. Okay, so it's really important that we kind of work on moving that pessimism to even more of like a realist perspective. It doesn't have to be straight to optimism. Okay, you know, a more you know, seeing the half empty cup, half full cup. That's fine. You don't have to see just the full cup, right? Am I saying that right? Yeah, glass full. Right, we're seeing the glass full, half full. All right, anyway, so I think you guys understand what I'm saying there. So but also the playful part, we need to be we need to like lighten up a little bit, okay, because things have been serious. That's what it feels like here. It's saying like things have been so serious that we really need to tap into that playful side, really get that into gear. I'm excited to see what else I want to keep pulling because I want to see if this energy kind of lightens up, because that's what it feels like. It feels like it's very like Debbie Downer type archetype, to be honest with you. Okay, action needed, protection. Okay, so we need to feel protected. We need to be protected, protect what's important to you, etc., etc. So action needed is, so this could be a couple things actually. This could be protect your heart, protect your ideas, protect yourself. So this could just mean like bigger boundaries, you know, enforcing your boundaries, but also too about ideas is coming through. You don't necessarily have to be sharing what your next move is with people. Only do it with people you trust. And the fact that it's under action needed is basically saying like, just be careful, right? I have some of that cautious energy kind of coming from the Magical Child, because that's what it is. It's you're being, Spirit is asking us to move forward, but you're doing it in a more cautious way. Like that's kind of the vibe that I'm kind of getting from these 2 cards, is like we are, you know, it's almost like you might be seeing something that's too good to be true, but you don't allow yourself necessarily to jump into that energy. By the way, I'm not saying it's a negative thing or a bad thing. I'm just reading the energies of what it actually is. And it's totally fine to take things slow, and it's totally fine to maybe withhold information from people because you're on the fence about whether you should share it with them or not. And we've gotten a couple of things in the last month or so about, you know, 1 week it was kind of like keep don't necessarily share things with outside opinions and voices and things like that. And then I think the following week was like, okay, maybe if you do trust them. So this is really about listening to your own intuition and using discernment and making sure you do protect yourself at all costs. It's okay to open up. It's okay to be a little bit more optimistic or, like I said, realist. But it really is about protecting yourself. So basically, Spirit is saying action needed. You need to take care of yourself, put yourself first, and making sure you're protecting your heart. Maybe this is a relationship thing, or protecting your ideas. Like I said, maybe it's more like career, maybe it's more about your goals and how you want to move forward in life. But we need to move forward in a more protected way. And the number one thing, like, basically think of it as like your own bodyguard. Like, that's what I'm getting in my head. And hopefully that makes sense. But it makes sense to me. So basically with these two cards, it kind of just feels like proceed with caution, but don't be so, pessimistic about it. And lighten up a little bit, right? Because I feel like we've really, like I said, the energy is coming through pretty strong, and I don't know, and obviously we're only on two cards of the reading, but maybe we do start to lighten up towards the end of the month. But it definitely does feel like things are getting, the Spirit is asking us to be a little bit more unserious, but still, protect, again, protect whatever you need to protect. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see what issue is. New life. Okay, so we're having issues moving on to the new life, which makes sense, right? Because we're proceeding with caution, okay? I was just thinking the other day, because I pulled my own cards for my own life, and we haven't had the limbo card in a while, and we actually haven't gotten a card like this, the new life, in a while. We had some let go energy coming into August for the last weekly. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out. That we're kind of, wrapping things up, trying to let go of things that don't serve us anymore. But we're having an issue kind of really blossoming into the new life, which makes sense because, like I said, we're still proceeding with caution. We're still holding on to any seriousness that happened. And by the way, the seriousness isn't like Spirit isn't scolding us for being serious. Like, we were going through some serious stuff. Like, a lot of you guys couldn't find jobs, or going through, like me, a health journey, or going through a breakup, or just having, maybe financial issues. These are serious issues. Spirit is saying you're not supposed to be upset about them, or you're not supposed to take them seriously. I'm just reading the energy that remember, this is all about working with the energies, not against them. So the energies are starting to lighten up, which is a really good thing, but it still doesn't feel like we're in that new life where everything feels like we're thriving. You used that term before, surviving versus thriving. It doesn't necessarily feel like that, but you might be feeling it a little bit, and that's what's really making you a little hesitant, or thinking maybe it's too good to be true, or you feel it and it's not exactly there yet, and you're proceeding with caution. So the issue is that we don't feel like it's our new life yet, but we see glimpses of it, right? We see glimmers of it, and I think that's important because it keeps us moving forward, which is good. What do we have for challenge? We have High Priest, intend and create. Okay, so we're having challenges being intentional and creating what we need from that intentional space. Intention is definitely more of a feminine thing, but the High Priest is overall a more masculine type energy, so that's an action-oriented energy, which is because intentions and create is definitely more of a feminine thing, but this is because it's the High Priest, it is the more masculine, which means that we're actually putting those things into action, but we're having a hard time putting those things into action. So it's hard that we're so if you're beating yourself up because you haven't necessarily done something and it hasn't been your priority, because that's where really the intentions are, is like, what are you doing to, doing things that are intentional, things that are important to you, things that will move you forward, and you haven't necessarily been doing those things. So that goes with new life, is that we're not necessarily doing the things that will require us to do in our new life. And that's okay. For whatever reason it's not going forward, whether it's actually just divine timing at play, because guys, I really believe in divine timing, okay? I believe we're exactly where we need to be at this exact moment, even if it feels super frustrating, even if it feels super long, like you've been here forever. Okay, we've gotten the patience card a couple of different times. That's how I know it's been taking forever for a lot of us, and including my personal experience. But it's okay. You're exactly where you need to be, and that's all that matters. Okay, so it's okay that you're not necessarily putting these things into action. But it does feel challenging. So don't beat yourselves up. It's going to happen all month, it feels like. But it's okay. Okay, and that's why it's coming through. Basically, Spirit's saying it's okay. But what's actually changing? Okay, we have student in the shadow, arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Okay, arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge. Okay, so what's changing? Basically, Spirit is saying here, like, you're not being a good student. Okay, so it does feel like scolding now, doesn't it? Okay, you guys know I always tell you the truth of the energies that come through, okay? So basically, this is saying, and even if it, even if it's not the greatest, even if it makes us look at ourselves, but that's what it's all about, right, guys? Everything is a mirror, including the energy that is put forth by the universe, okay? So, okay, so this is basically saying, Spirit is saying, you're not being a good student, okay? So you're not implementing what you're learning, what you've learned. You're not implementing what you've learned. You're still going back to your old ways. You're continuing to kind of go back to your old ways, and you're not necessarily putting in the wisdom that Spirit knows that you have, and implementing it to go forward. The fact that it's under change means that will change. I will say, like I said, I mentioned here with the challenge here, is that, and this is a monthly reading, that I feel like it won't happen till the end of the month. So I feel like all month you're going to be wrestling with not necessarily implementing the changes that you've learned over the last few months. This could be something as simple as at work, or really like a big lesson of, I don't want to say maybe a pattern that maybe you've broken, but it could be. But there's something that is really a lesson out there that Spirit has been really trying to teach you, that you're not necessarily like you're behaving the same way over and over and over again when you haven't necessarily, you're not applying the wisdom that you have. We've had the wisdom card a few times over the last few months. This is kind of similar, where it's saying you're not necessarily implementing what you've actually learned. You're doing the same thing over and over again. But the positive thing, like I said, is under change. It's under the change slot here. So basically that's going to change, but it came in the shadow, okay? So basically it's saying, okay, we're not necessarily implementing it. It's going to take us all month to really get it. Okay, there's going to be definitely certain situations, more than one, I will say. It definitely feels that way. It feels like it's definitely not just one instance where we're going to be faced with opportunities to really implement our new changes, our new wisdom, and we're going to fail. Let's put it that way. We're not going to implement it in the way that Spirit knows that we can. But that will change by the end of the month. I'm going to say the last week. I know that's a little specific, but that's what it feels like to me. And you guys know I read intuitively. That's what it feels like it's going to be towards the end. So, the next 3 weeks, hold on to your butts, because, and it's okay, right? Change takes, this is like a good example, because this is basically saying, change takes a while, right? It's going to take a few instances for you to really get into your new habit. And change takes a while, and change takes routine. So, it's okay, but you will eventually implement what you've learned. So hopefully that makes sense. That's maybe a little broad, but I think you guys will see the stark difference from week 3 to week 4, okay? All right, focus. What do we need to focus? Justice. The justice, man, justice, balance, fairness. A lot of this stuff has been coming up. We're in a weird time right now. Focus on balancing things, focus on making things fair, focus on justice. Could this be, like I mentioned before, I've gotten this card, or a similar one in another deck, on the overall landscape of what's going on in the world, socially, perhaps, but it definitely does feel like it's more focused on us. So focus on finding more balance in life, focus on fairness, focus on being the most fair, moral, just person that you could be, and how you can implement that in your life. What do we need to reflect on? It's usually similar type energy. Mending. Okay, so this is interesting. This might have something to do with the justice, because fairness definitely could go into our relationships, and this is definitely having to do with relationships here in Reflect. So mending. Something tells me that some of you guys out there, and again, this is a reading for the collective. I don't know if I said that actually earlier in this video, but the collective is really just the collective consciousness. It's just everybody, okay? As one unit, right? We are all one, right? We're all connected in some way, shape, or form through spirit. So this is basically saying that we're thinking about mending some type of relationship. Whether it's completely tethered off, where we're completely separated from this individual or group or family or whatever, family member or whatever it actually is, or we don't have the best relationship, and we will start having that you're thinking about having a better relationship, changing something in there to have a better relationship. So you might be, this month, you might be coming across. And I will say this, the fact that it's coming up here and it's coming up this way is that maybe it's about someone or something, again, could be a group, organization of some kind that you never thought about mending before. Okay, that's why it takes a lot of reflection. That's why it's coming under Reflect. So you may never have thought that you would have a close relationship or a different type of relationship with this person or this organization or whatever it actually is, group, whatever. What was I gonna say? Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, okay, I think that was the point that I was trying to make there. So reflect on that, because the fact that it's also under Reflect is saying that we really need to kind of think about how to do it. Could actually have something to do with our wisdom, about how to implement more wisdom there, to be more mature, to come in at a different angle, something along those lines. But you are thinking about it. And again, we're having issues with actually creating something, doing something, being in our masculine energy. So again, and Reflect is definitely more of a feminine thing. So this is just thinking about it. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to take action on it, but I know it's not under surprise, but it is coming in as a little bit of a surprise that you might be thinking about how to mend this relationship and with somebody, or again, some organization or group that you may have never thought that you would mend again, or have a close relationship at all. So that's very interesting. Responsibilities, set your sights higher. This is the stargazer. Okay, so we're not necessarily seeing our fullest potential. That's what this is all about. This is all about playing small. So your responsibilities are to think a little bit bigger this month. Okay, so when you're reflecting about mending and fairness and balance in your own lives, think about your potential, and your responsibilities are really to think about how far you can go. So I feel like we're playing small in some areas, so I definitely feel like a lot of that stuff is going to come up and make us rethink our future and what our goals are. And I think this is really great because, again, we started out with that kind of pessimistic type energy, that almost like a negative type energy, and we need to really move it to a more positive place. So hopefully that will really switch things when it comes to your potential, right? Because playing small is definitely more of a pessimistic type of thing. Money and finances. We have priest in the shadow, violates the trust of your spiritual community to do so your own spiritual role. Okay, so this makes sense because I believe we had the femme fatale here, right? And so there was a lot of, and it was in the shadow, and it was a lot of manipulative energy. It was doing something at work that we weren't necessarily proud of, or doing something to get ahead that maybe isn't the greatest, something like that. So this is again in the shadow. By the way, we've had a lot of shadow in the archetype. I noticed all three of them so far. So this just means that we have a lot of work to do, and that spirit is asking us to look at ourselves and look at it, where we may play a part in where we're holding ourselves back. Okay. And that's okay. That's pretty normal. Some people would call that shadow work, right? So we have to love those parts of ourselves. But anyway, so basically this is saying, violates the trust of your spiritual community, abused by your own spiritual role. Okay. So this is another situation that I would say it's not exactly the same as the femme fatale archetype, but this is saying that you are might be violate is pretty strong for this card. I would say it's more so like you're going against your spirituality in some way, to do your work, okay? So this is under career, money, and finances. So you are maybe focusing a little bit too much on material things, which again, these aren't, the shadow isn't meant for quote unquote bad, okay? It's important that we focus on sometimes we have to do that in life, okay? Especially those that have been in survival mode, okay? If you need money to come in, you have to do it, what's necessary, etc., etc. But it might be, again, violate is a strong word, but it might be kind of going against what your soul wants, right? The fact that it's next to potential is that you're thinking more beyond what is in survival mode, what is right in front of you. So you want to do more. You want to do things that really touch your soul more. And so you're going to really recognize that money, finances, and career is that you might just not be satisfied on a spiritual level anymore. And that's really becoming apparent this month. That's what it's saying, because you're violating what your soul truly desires to do. Like, you are moving to a place where you want more purpose, where you want more passion, and you want to fulfill your highest potential. You want more in those aspects. Doesn't have to be, and like I said, I don't even think it has something to do with money. Obviously we want to be doing those things and make money at the same time, but you're really thinking beyond that at that point. And I say this a lot, like sometimes I think it's a luxury to do that, right? Because it's almost like a privilege, because when we're in survival mode and we need to have our basics taken care of, we're not thinking about our highest potential. We're really thinking about bringing in a paycheck and feeding our kids and all of that stuff. And which Spirit totally understands. But again, reading the energies, picking up on the energies of what the month may bring to us, is that we might be wanting more, especially with that right next to it is the set your sights higher, okay? Really looking for more potential, really looking for more purpose, looking for more passion. So if that hits you like a ton of bricks, you guys know why, and hopefully you'll be ahead of it with this reading. Okay, surprise, fear. Okay, so fear coming up. This doesn't surprise me, because what we started out with, okay? The pessimism is definitely related to fear, okay? 100%. We had a lot of the shadow, okay? Like I mentioned, in the archetypes. Again, not bad, but it is related to fear. Like we're like I said, we're afraid to let things be positive for us. We're not implementing what we've learned, right? And I'm sure that's fueled by fear as well, at least for some of us, right? Is that maybe we're afraid of change. Maybe, afraid of change is a big thing. But I definitely do feel like there's this element of fear that really is fueled by a lot of these things. But the fact that it's under surprise, maybe you'll connect it, right? Because you start asking yourself, what am I afraid of, right? And starting to peel back those layers and start becoming ready to conquer it, right? And so the fact that it's under surprise, I think you'll be surprised by how I didn't really give the greatest example up there, but I think that's for you to figure out. Meaning, like, the things that you don't have, and again, it's next to these two cards here, so it's next to these two energies. Yes, we're in survival mode for sure, but what else is it? Does it feel that you're afraid to fear of success is a big thing, okay? Maybe you're afraid to outshine your friends because you have all these big dreams and big goals, etc., etc. So just look out for, and I don't feel like, again, it's a negative thing. It's just saying that you'll be surprised at how much fear you really recognize and uncover this month about some of the things that you don't have, or some of the things that that are kind of holding you back from this, again, quote unquote, new life that you really do want, because you see it, you definitely see it, you can envision it, that kind of thing. But it's just, there's a lot of stuff kind of coming up there that's really, basically, Spirit is asking us to get to root cause. And the fact that it's under surprise is you'll start to see the fear that's there and start to identify it. And once you do that, then you're able to make the change. Okay, friends, a leg up. Okay, advantageous energy, which means that there's an advantage here to take an advantage to take advantage of. So a friend might have an opportunity for you. You might have an opportunity for a friend, something along those lines. But there's something here where you can tap into your friend group and get ahead in some type of way. So your friend's pulling through in, it doesn't have to be money, finances, and career, but some kind of opportunity in some type of way. Opportunity for maybe a friend sets you up for, we can look at it in the relationship way too. But really good energy here with friends. What do we have in romantic connection? We have trader, exchange energy to create abundance. Okay, so this is about not tit for tat, but more so like I can do this and then you can do that, okay? And so this is actually really good compromise energy for anybody that's partnered. So this is a really good month for, and this is balance too, right? So it kind of goes with the justice card here. So focusing on that in your relationship is definitely compromising more. Focusing on that is definitely something Spirit is asking us to do. So it's basically saying, rebalancing of the household if you live with them, or balancing the masculine and feminine energies between the two of you, whatever it actually is. And as far as my single people out there, it's a really great month for dating, because you get what you put out there. So you can have somebody, so basically it's saying you can like your potential dates and suitors or whatever could match your energy. So if you feel like you're always giving or going above and beyond or something like that, it is definitely a good month to match that energy of getting what you give back, right? So this is especially good for my people out there that have high love languages and giving gifts and that kind of thing, because it definitely, and the gifts aren't just gifts, like not actual just physical things, but if you're more of like a giver, and sometimes, a lot of times, people that are givers get with takers, and that's not always great. That's not great at all, actually. But you can be with other givers is basically what Spirit is saying here. So, yay, that energy can be matched. Okay, important. Nature child. Okay, friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. Okay, so it's important. We have another child card, right? We have the magical child that came in upside down, and then we actually have the nature child that came in right side up. So awesome. So basically this is saying important. It is important to get into that inner child, like we mentioned. Get out in nature. So this is basically saying this part of yourself. Being more playful. Playing with animals, playing with children, going outside more, buying yourself flowers just to buy yourself flowers, that kind of thing. So it's important that we really nurture their inner child, like I mentioned up here. So this is just another reminder. Glad that we had one right side up. Health and wellness, we have gratitude. Okay, having gratitude is always a positive thing, especially in this area. Let me tell you guys, health is wealth. God, if there's anything that I learned that I need to implement here as a student, it's health is wealth. Okay, maybe that actually, I'm connecting mine, if you guys don't mind, for my little insight here. Maybe this has something to do with, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I do have a strict diet because I'm healing through food and hydration and exercise, and tons of electrolytes, tons of electrolytes, and staying very, very hydrated. But I don't always make the best food choices all the time. Okay, I'm not 100%, and I try to be, but it's just I need to do better. Let's just put it that way. And I know food is healing because, like I said, I'm not healing through any kind of medication. I'm actually just healing from the basics. So I know food is medicine, 100%. But I don't always act that way, right? And so for me, I should have, I'm connecting these two. I should have gratitude that that's really all it takes, right? I'm not on any kind of medication or chemo or any, I'm not on any kind of thing that is, number one, expensive, harsh on my body. It's really about going back to basics for myself and my healing. And I am a student, okay? I used to eat whatever I wanted without any type of issue at all, literally anything. So it's been a really huge change for me that I haven't necessarily implemented all the way. Okay, so I'm still the student and I'm not necessarily implementing everything I learned, but I'm really trying to get there. I'm becoming more stricter. I'm even feeling it already. So that can have something to do with how I interpret this energy. So that's just an example that came to mind here, but always have gratitude for your health and your wellness journey, whether it's a spiritual journey, whether it's a mental health journey, whether it's a physical journey like mine, whether you're in a spiritual awakening of some kind. Gratitude for how far you've come, and for all of the stuff that you already have. If you're a mental health journey and you can get up in the morning and get out of bed, be grateful. Okay, if you have one friend, be grateful. So this is more, it's funny how this comes up when that energy that we first came out, that we need the optimism. Gratitude is going to get us there. Okay, so not shocked. Again, reminding ourselves of that first card that came through. Overall energy, overall outcome. Okay, not for you. Perfect. Okay, so basically this is saying as the months go on, we're going to start realizing what is not for us anymore and what we're leaving behind. Like I said, we got this energy in the last weekly that was going into this month, so this makes sense. So August is really about shedding what no longer serves us anymore, but we have to get through all of the stuff that I just said. So we're definitely going to feel lighter by the end of the month for sure, and we're definitely not going to take a lot of things with us. So a lot of those things that we could let go of are fear of certain things, of not necessarily learning our lesson. We're going to let go of that. We're going to let go of the pessimism. We're going to, what else? I would say let go of, I don't want to say let go of survival mode, but I do want to say like let go of maybe just coasting at work, I will say, on autopilot. Okay, we're letting go of that we don't want that anymore. Not necessarily that things are going to change, but again, the energy of that, we're kind of shedding that. So there's a lot of things that are, that we're saying, this is not for me anymore, and I'm not going into September with these things. So I see it as a positive thing. I was a little worried, not going to lie to you guys, with that first card because it came through pretty strongly about the pessimism. It will change going, like I'm reading this as like a story towards the end of the month. It's really only there to serve us. All of this energy is here for us, not against us. Okay, so let's work with it. But I definitely do see us becoming more positive towards the end, as long as we kind of do all this work that's in between and work with this energy, etc., etc. So our relationships look good. I love that. And I don't think I have too much more to say, unless I don't want to be super repetitive, but guys, I would say it's a lovely month. Work with the energies, not against them. And I'm excited to see what September has for us. And other than that, have a wonderful, wonderful month. And again, apologies for the lateness, and any comments down below. I would love to hear from you guys. All right, have a good one, guys. See you next time. Bye.